Welcome back to Gears and Glory. We're in 2025. We're still thinking about 2024, and that's what the name of the game is today. We're going to recap every race from the 2024 season, high level notes, high level reactions. We're going to get through all of them. I guess if you're going to listen to any episode, it's this one to get the most bang for your buck on the Spotify.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
happy 2025, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy
Let's
New
get
Year.
into
Happy
it.
holidays.
All right. I've got my handy dandy. If you hear paper in the recording, it's because I wrote it down by hand like I'm in the 17th century. But the first race of the 2024 season was Bahrain. Our podium, and this is what the structure is going to be for all the races, we're going to go podium and high notes that I decided when I was reading the F1 website recap. So
Soph made the
completely
executive
subjective.
decision.
I literally
Yeah.
don't remember any races other than the Netherlands, and that's just because of trauma. But I don't remember anything else. I swear to God. Like,
Oh, yes, you do.
It'll
You
come back to
remember
you.
Monaco, Miami.
It'll come back to you. Trust me. What I was reading these and I was like,
remember the first half of the season.
No, believe me. It'll come back, trust me. Okay, so first one was Bahrain. Our podium was Max, Checo, Carlos. So like pretty standard compared to the
Wait.
2023 season.
Are you doing P1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Max got P1, don't worry.
Okay.
See, I told you would remember things. And then the call out that I have for this one was that Ferrari and Red Bull were top, and then Mercedes and McLaren filled up the rest of the 8. So, like, from the first race, we kind of started to see pattern. Like, literally from that one race, we kind of saw, like, what the top 4 were going to look like, which, like, made sense. Like, it's literally Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. So, like, it had been trending that way, but, like, little did we know that was going to be the case all the way through.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a moment of trauma for everyone. I think that's the point where we went, shit, we're in for another year of Max Verstappen domination.
Yeah. What was isn't there a Bahrain curse where it was like the driver that won Bahrain? They lost got P2 in the championship, but I think Max broke that in 2023 anyway. So
everything.
Yeah.
He's so good. It's annoying.
Bahrain, or did he win? Or did Checo win Bahrain last 2023? I don't really care.
Couldn't tell you.
Does not even matter.
All right. Well, the second race was Saudi, and the podium was really similar. It was Verstappen P1, Checo P2, Charles P3. This was when Ollie drove for Carlos because of his appendicitis. So Carlos was in the hospital. Ollie ended up P7, which put him on the freaking table for the whole season. Honestly, good for him. And yeah, my other note here is just that Red Bull business as usual. They were extremely dominant. Nothing like people. We were all mourning the possibility of a good season at this point. Still,
yeah. No, I do remember that and being very shocked at Ollie's performance straight out of the gate. Like I know he was in Ferrari,
race 2,
but like, come on, that's a good performance.
No, yeah, you can put someone great in a you could put someone in a great car that's not necessarily good and they won't do anything with it. So it's like really promising. Like I'm really excited to see what Ollie does in the Haas because the Haas was also being very promising for the midfield.
Yeah.
And at least it'll be his steering wheel. Like in Saudi, he was using Carlos' steering wheel, which is so different to what he'd usually use. You know what I mean? So steering wheel that he actually knows. I think this kid's gonna wreak absolute havoc.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I do think that he is going to perform better than Antonelli. Just initially.
Oh, he did an F2 as well.
Yeah.
Antonelli was crap.
I think Antonelli will get better. I think he just might have a slow, similar to George maybe. Like he did okay, he did well enough to get in the Mercedes, but then it took him and Lando took them a while to like really make that car their own. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. All right, race 3, Australia. The podium was immediately post appendectomy P1 Carlos Sainz win.
Yeah, that's a slay.
To Leclerc, and then Lando Norris. So this one, there was no Red Bulls in the top 3 on the podium. There were 3 DNFs, which was the big George crash, red flag. And then Lewis and Max also DNF'd, which I think people were excited that Max like couldn't win. I think Like, I remember being really excited, like, okay, like, oh no, he's out. He's not winning. Like, this is something. Give me this. Because it was going to be the only one we were going to have all season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember this race.
Yeah, this one I do. I was standing right
Surely.
there. Michael got his carbon fiber in my eye. I remember this clearly. And you know what? To this day, I have to feel so bad because as happy as I was that like Max was DNFing, because like the corner I was sitting at, like obviously his car was already smoking to begin with, but when his like brake really blew up and like smoke was right in front of our corner, so we were like, shit, no, he's actually gonna DNF. Like this isn't just smoke. You know what I mean? And I was like, obviously we were cheering for some. I don't know how it happened, but we were a corner of people wearing Ferrari merch. And I don't know how it happened, but there was like no other merch. There was my mum wearing a McLaren Fernando Alonso shirt and a chick next to me in a Lance Stroll shirt. Random. Her dad was bullying her. It was hilarious. But everyone was in Ferrari and obviously we were screaming and I feel so bad because the bloke next to me looked really sad all of a sudden. And I thought I must have been screaming too loud. I was like, sorry. And his girlfriend's mum goes, he's Dutch. And I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not, but I am. And to this day, that haunts me at night because...
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's just sports. It's fine. They just...
And he was a man, so he wouldn't be thinking about that at all.
Yeah, literally.
That has left his brain. Plus, he's Dutch. He's got thick skin. It's fine.
Yeah, if he's built anything like Max, he'll be okay.
Yeah. I remember I was sitting on my couch watching this race and my partner had gone to sleep and we were the only ones home. And I was literally so excited. I was like, but I had to be silent. And so I was like,
oh, you're so respectful. Oh, I would not have cared.
And I was like, oh my God, he's not winning. And I was like whispering to myself and I was like texting my group chat and I was like, oh my God. And I was like freaking out.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Nice.
And then after that, I almost fell asleep because, to be honest, it was a pretty boring race after that.
Yeah, until George absolutely like brightened the mood.
Yeah, I was genuinely like nodding off.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, race 4.
Okay, race 4 was Japan. The podium takes a really similar turn. So it's P1 Verstappen, P2 Checo, P3 Carlos Sainz. My note for this is uneventful, and then underneath it says nice pics with blossoms. Because honestly, there were some very beautiful images. They love going to Japan in the spring.
That is actually my wallpaper for my work laptop.
Oh, really? Oh my God!
It's a sleigh.
Honestly, the only 2 things I remember from Japan were random grass fires on the track. There was like one in there. It was really random. But then I also remember, because obviously it was after Australia where Albon had ruined his own car and had to take Logan's. And this makes me out to sound like a really bad person, but I just remember thinking it was the greatest thing ever when him and Daniel crashed on like the opening lap. Because I was like, you know what? Albon like, back to back just proved he can't drive like in 2 races in a row. And I was sort of like, this is like a stick you to Williams. Like, Logan's not the only issue. Like, sure, he's a issue, and I love him. I love Logan. He's a slight issue, but so is Alex.
Forgot about that.
But I remember that. That's stuck in my brain.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see how Carlos performs there. If it's like a driver issue or like an organization issue, honestly.
Well, he already seems like he's doing pretty well in the postseason testing.
I don't want him to do bad is the thing.
No.
Like the car's not good, but I don't want him to do bad. And the thing is, I'm not beating the allegations. I think I'm going to end up getting Carlos Sainz Williams merch. I am not beating the Williams fans allegations.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do, this does not support your I'm not a Williams fan case.
I'm not beating the not a Williams fan allegations. I'm a Lance Stroll truther. Like, there's a lot. The red flags are endless here.
F1 fans must hate you.
Yeah. Let's ask Baked Beans how they feel. Oh my God, traumatized by Instagram user Baked Beans. Okay.
Williams will be brilliant in 2025 because
hopefully.
I don't know if you saw, but Colapinto's payout from Williams was $20 million.
Hopefully they'll have something to do with it.
$20 million.
Hopefully that. Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully that covers his bloody damage that they cost him that put them into their 2025 budget.
My
so that's probably why it was so big.
Franco's literally changed his Instagram and Twitter bio to Formula One driver for
I love it.
I'm really concerned that we actually are losing Jack Doohan.
That's what I've heard. And I don't want
But like,
I mean,
why
I don't know.
though?
No,
but
they're really misunderstood.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think. Oh, I hope it isn't another Liam Lawson situation.
Surely not. Probably is, but surely not.
Race 5.
Race 5. Moving on.
Race 5 was China. I'll call out before I say the podium because fuck the podium. I mean, pardon my French. It's just in all caps. It's Joe in just all caps with 2 exclamation points and underlined a bunch of times because that was such an emotional moment for them to have like a driver from there to be part of that sport. The podium was Max, Lando, and Checo, which whatever.
Boring.
But this is where we see in the sprint for the first time Lando begin to fumble all of his starts. Because in the sprint, he qualified P1 immediately down to 4th. I remember this so clearly. Because I remember it was around that first turn that is so like iconic of the China track. Of just watching Lando fall back. And I was like, nope.
New year, same shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? This was so funny. I feel like as you're saying these, I'm having like a pop-up like, this is all I remember from this.
Yeah.
Around when Taylor Swift released the Tortured Poets department, because there's that song where it's like, I'm an Aston Martin, but you crash straight into the ditch or whatever. And that's when Lance rear-ended Daniel for no apparent reason.
Yes. There was a safety car, wasn't there?
Well,
yeah, it was under safety car or something, and he just rammed him.
What was also very funny about that is there were rumors a few months prior that
she was
Fernando
dating.
Alonso were dating.
Yes.
And I remember when I did like a first listen to the album and I heard that, I turned to all my friends and I'm just pissing myself laughing. And they're like, What? And I had to like pause it and explain like the law.
I wanted it to be true so bad.
Same, but he's a short king. It wasn't going to work.
I don't care.
I really love Travis, so...
Same. Yeah. What else I remember from China was when they had like the little like bollard thing for Zhou to park his car on, like the main straight at the end of the race, and he just like got out and was like on his hands and knees like in front of everyone just like crying, and I was like, oh my god, so emotional. Especially because it wasn't announced that time that he wasn't going to be racing next year.
I wonder if he knew.
Because like, I mean, there was so much time left.
Yeah, I think be that emotional racing in like your home country and whatever. But like he seemed overly emotional like the whole weekend.
Yeah, and but I don't know. I feel like
maybe he wasn't racing this year.
I don't know. I feel like maybe it would just be over because they haven't raced in China in a while, and like he wasn't.
This was the first time it was back, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the last time was when Seb was on the grid.
It was like 2015.
Yeah,
2019 rookies raced once.
Yeah, and so I don't know, and like Joe wasn't a rookie at that point.
Yeah,
I think he joined 2021. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like obviously they would have started to have their contract negotiations that early on, but that would have been just after the rebrand. Yeah. So they probably were talking about 25, but probably hadn't, I would assume, not locked anything in that early.
I really hope not, because I'm so sad if he like went there knowing it was his like, last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I remember from this race, I think you reminded me when you said you're an Aston Martin that I trusted, is I think this was when Alonso was coming up this, like they put in new gravel or something and everyone was catching their back tire on it. And it was just like a rapid fire, insane reaction time from Alonso. Like the car was spinning out and he like clicked a button, went back half a second in time, fixed it, and then kept going. Like it felt like that was the level of skill that he pulled. And I was like, and you know what? I can't do anything but respect the guy after that.
Oh my god, and there was all that like blow up over Carlos crashed in qualifying and then continued in qualifying after causing a red flag. And in like F2, F3, if you cause a red flag in qualifying, you're not allowed to finish qualifying. Commentators were all thinking that would be the same rule in F1 because why wouldn't it be? Turns out it isn't. So there was all that commotion on whether he should have been allowed to restart qualifying, and ended up qualifying really well. I remember everyone blowing up about
I
Yeah.
don't remember that, actually.
I'm sure that was China. Maybe it wasn't. It happened at some point.
There's too much going on. Like, there's 24 races. There's FP 1 to 3, sprint weekends, qualifying,
No,
media
there's so
pens.
much.
Like, there's so
Yeah.
much. So
When
I'm
it was
sure
like, I
there's
was
stuff that
taking
none of
notes.
us remember.
Yeah, I was taking notes, and it was like, yeah, we're going to have to pick one of these things because I'm running out of space to write on my piece of paper.
Yeah.
But,
and you know
okay.
what? Say the spark, and then we all remember things anyway. To bring
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Jog your
Okay.
memory.
So,
Race 6 was Miami. Get mad.
Ooh.
Get ready to get mad. I'm still mad about Miami.
Oh.
I still haven't watched the full race.
Sorry, Lando Norris. This is a personal apology.
Lando's downfall.
Yeah.
Miami made me really happy. I wasn't a Lando hater at this point.
Oh, yay! Miami!
Happy tears for him.
Literally, if you look, I did a Miami live reaction, and I was like literally crying.
Oh my god. We hadn't.
I was so happy.
This was when it planted the seed for me, because okay, our podium was Lando, Max, Charles. Pretty good. He did his champagne pop. Lando first win, and then my sentence says Lando first win because of safety car mix up, because literally the safety car picked up the wrong person. He got lucky, which, like, I will say this, I think wins in Formula One are largely skill based, but on occasion they are lucky. Like, they're just lucky.
Absolutely.
Like, there's elements of both that go into a win, unless like you're Max Verstappen or like someone who is proven again and again. Like, if you're a multiple time race winner and not like a champion, maybe like in single digit wins, I feel like there's a big element of luck to some of them. Whereas like if you're a consistent winner, there's more evidence. I'm a big data person. There's like more evidence just that like you can do it. It's not just like a one-off, that things went your way. And it just felt like with Miami, it went that way. And I remember I think they did a tire change or a front wing change late on Oscar, and I was really mad about that, because he was doing well, and then he ended up in like the teens of the places. Like, it was such a rough race.
I think it was going to be a 1-2 for
something
McLaren.
Like that. And then Oscar's race got absolutely screwed. So I think that I was having a lot of feelings about that at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Look, I feel like Miami's one we can breeze over, because I don't have a lot of positive comments, and I feel like this needs to be a positive space.
Okay, race 7.
I didn't start hating on Lando, and I don't hate him anymore because the season's over. But I didn't start hating on him until after Austria. So.
No, I think I realized what I don't like about him. And I think it's just that he's a young man of his age, and I don't much care for young men of his age in general, of like the culture that they carry. Of like, he posted some picture on Instagram like snowboarding or skiing or something, and it just seemed like something that a guy would post to get a girl to respond to him. And I think that's my beef.
Yeah, okay.
Like, some of it feels really performative.
They drive me insane. Like, one of them posted, first of all, why do you know Lando's number plate off by heart? That's weird. But they posted photos of what was, I don't know his number plate, so I can't confirm if it actually was his F40. But they're like, look, Lando's F40's damaged.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't fucking care. Second of all, how do you fucking know? And third of all, he's in fucking Dubai, not Monaco. So how would he have damaged it?
He didn't.
Also,
okay, I did see this.
I
did see
the
this
planet's
before.
on fire.
Yes, literally.
Just get a first class ticket.
I did see this before. He came back from Dubai to see that his car had been hit, like rear-ended, but I don't know who was driving it.
Yeah, that was someone driving it. So, like, was it actually his car? And yeah. Why do you know his number plate? Like, that's what I don't...
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. F1 fans are weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that. So, moving to race 7.
Imola. We're back in Italy. So our podium was Max, Lando, and Charles. This one also says uneventful, comma. Norris fighting a bit more, McLaren looking strong. Oh, I think this was the one where they were like, you can catch him. You just need like to add 4 more laps to the race and he could have caught up to Max. I think that was this race.
This is
Like
the one
he
as
just
well.
wasn't quite going to make it.
Yeah. And I feel like Checo and Max were really struggling at Imola. They kept like spinning out on one corner or sliding or something.
Oh, maybe it was a tire thing. I think I remember that.
I think they had something with their wing. Because remember they didn't have Imola was not a good it's not a good track for their car, so they don't really focus on building a wing for that circuit, and then they had to use Imola's wing or Monza's wing in Vegas.
Oh, the one that they shaved by
Yeah.
hand.
But I remember them saying like because it's like one race out of the whole year that all around their car doesn't suit, so they don't really put a focus on tailoring the the aero setup to fit the track. So I think that's why they were struggling, because they just like don't give a shit. They're like, fuck it, it's one race. And I think they thought Max would be more dominating.
I mean, he still won. It just wasn't by as much.
No.
Yeah, I think this was, I mean, I think the note of like Norris fighting a bit more here that I wrote is like tied to the fact that I think we started to see that like, oh no, there's like a chance. Like we've got a fighting chance. Anybody who's in the top 4 who's not a Red Bull fan.
Yeah.
I so vividly remember this race and sitting there saying to my mum, like, this is the start of Red Bull's downfall. I so vividly being like,
you called it.
He DNF'd in Australia, keeping in mind he hadn't DNF'd since Australia 2022. I was like, this is their downfall. They're struggling in Imola. They're not winning every race. And Max DNF'd in Australia. I was like, this is their downfall.
Like, it's happening.
Hold it.
Yeah.
I need to start doing like little prediction videos or something. I don't know if you guys have seen Tiana. She's on like Instagram, and she posted all of her like predictions from this year that she like accidentally manifested things and then they were right.
You need to do it.
Recording them. I need to start recording the things I say because nobody believes me when I'm like, I called this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, niche and random, but 2022, yeah. 2022 or 2023, I don't know. The end of 22 or the beginning of 23, I said to Mum, there is no way in hell Shane Van Gisbergen is racing in supercars in 2024. He's going to go to NASCAR. After going to NASCAR and winning on debut, I was like, he's not staying here. Supercars has gone to shit. And it must have been the beginning of 23 then, because that's when he did it. So I was like, he's not staying in supercars. Like, I promise you, he's gone next year. And then I got really thrown off because he signed a contract for 24 and 25. And I was like, oh, shit, like, I'm wrong. Like, damn it. And then he got out of his contract and went to fucking NASCAR. And I was like, I need to start.
I called it.
Document it. Document it for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. It's our favorite race of the season was race 8. It was Monaco. Don't even need to say P1. We all know it was Charles Leclerc. I cried. P2, Oscar, great. P3, Carlos, great. Don't care. Charles Leclerc won. I cried. He started talking about his dad. I had to get up and walk away. I had to take a lap.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we were all in the same boat when that happened. I was like,
There was a commentator from like another channel. I can't remember who he was. I can't remember his name off the top of my head or what he's from. But his commentary was way better than Crofty's, and I refuse for anyone to tell me otherwise. He did the one where it was like, he watched these stands.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then his dad died and this. That's the best commentary ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was so good.
My only thought or question from Monaco, the only thing I think about to this day, every single day, is how did Charles' hat stay on his head when he dove into the marina? How tight is his hat done up? Because he dove in, under and up, and it did not move.
Incredible pictures and form. Also, put him in the Olympics for diving?
Yeah.
If F1 no longer works out, he could diving team, honestly.
That man has dived off a number of yachts in his life.
Surely.
He is well equipped to dive into the ocean.
I think Fred how to dive because that was
Oh, I love Fred. I love Fred.
And I love that Oscar was on the podium with him because that was the same weekend where Charles like adopted Oscar.
Yes.
And it was a little like father-son podium, which I loved. Also my two favourite drivers, so I was happy.
Yeah. The only other note I have for Monaco is the lap 1 crashes that were the Haas and both Haas, I think it was, and
and
Checo.
Perez.
And then the one bit with, I think it was the safety car where Ocon was just being insane as usual and just knocked right into the back of Pierre.
And didn't Pierre, like, one of them got airtime?
Ocon went flying. He just went up.
Yeah.
No, he did that to himself, and then he was like mad about it, and I was like, "You crashed into your teammate. What are you expecting?"
Yeah.
And you know what? I know you guys don't watch the feeder series, but it would be absolutely cruel of me to talk about Monaco and not bring up Isaac Hadjar and his driving skills. I don't know if you guys in the tunnel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Times on that kid. Impeccable.
That was
could have been such a nasty crash. It could have been actually frightening, like Franco's in Brazil. It could have been so scary.
When I say I was screaming, I mean like literally I was screaming. I was like, like it made me want to like actually projectile vomit watching it. Like
like my heart's in my throat.
I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah, it was so freaking scary. And even Mum was like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen, like near crash.
Yeah.
Between that and the like F2 crash off the start in, I think it was Austin. Worst crash, like crashes or crashes this season.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've seen the clips from, I'm sure it was Austin. But like, I don't know how Kushmani made it out of that car. I don't.
Oh my God. I mean, shout out and thanks to like all the engineers who are like safety focused, because that's like their one job, and like thanks to them, like people don't really die anymore because of that as much.
Do the feeder series cars they all have halos now, right? Yeah.
They better.
Good.
But you know what? This is me calling out the F2 bosses. Fix your cars, because that starting grid crash was because he stalled, and it wasn't his fault he stalled. F2 cars are known to just stall for no reason because they're just shit cars. So it frequently happens. So hey, maybe
surely it can't be that hard to put an anti-stall in the feeder cars.
Anti-stall does not work.
Oh, okay. Well, surely it can't be that hard to fix it.
Yeah.
Get Nui on the case. He can fix all bloody cars on the grid in probably 10 minutes.
I reckon, because it's so dangerous. Like, there've been so many nasty like F2 crashes and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Isaac Hadjar lost the championship from stalling on the grid, so something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm excited to see him this year.
It'll be exciting. Okay. Race 9 was Canada. I'm a Lance Stroll truther. Our podium was Max, Lando, and George Russell snuck into P3. This one was a wet race. I think this was one where one of the Haas, I can't remember if it was Nico or Kevin, who had like the full wets on and not just the inters, and just kept making up like a ton of places. And I was like, yes. And then it was like time to change to slicks, and it was like, no, he's losing all the time he made.
7. Yeah, because he like bolted straight up the field and then dropped heaps. Hey.
Yeah. And then we had
Carlos incident.
Well, and there were 5 DNFs in this race. They were Carlos, Albon, who had, I think it was, he had a double overtake through a chicane at this track and then DNF'd. Checo DNF'd, Charles DNF'd. This one was a tough one for the girls because it was a double Ferrari DNF. And, of course, Logan Sargent DNF'd because he DNF'd all the time. Sorry, Logan, we love you.
Also, fun fact, that was Charles's only DNF all season.
Good for him.
Well, it wasn't too bad because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was just like a car issue where they said, okay, just retire it. Like, it wasn't like he crashed or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Carlos, I know that Albon spun and when he tried to avoid Albon.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah.
I do not remember anything about this race.
No, it was like
the only reason
went into the wall.
Yeah.
The only reason that I know that this is Charles's only DNF is because I was looking at his stats yesterday for where he finished in every race.
For fun, just scrolling, kicking your feet and twirling your hair.
No, I was scripting a video. But maybe a little bit like for entertainment. Like, wow, he did so well last year. I'm so proud of him.
Oh my god.
You too. What was I gonna say? Oh, I think this was the race. I think George was winning, and then he got absolutely fucked on by Max. But I feel like he also had a penalty or something. It was shocking in a second. Like, Max just absolutely just fucked on him. Like, he was doing so well.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to put like a viewer discretion advised warning on this episode.
Yeah.
Chaos. I know there's a few F-bombs every now and then, like in other episodes, but this one is just driven past my house about 3 times.
Your Australian is coming out, Liv.
Yeah, what the hell?
Absolutely fucked on.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay. I'm deflecting. We're moving to race 10. Race 10 was Spain. We had our podium was Verstappen again, so it's like there was not really that much hope. P2 was Lando, P3 was Lewis Hamilton. This was one where I wrote that Max and Lando were really battling it out. And this was Lewis Hamilton's first podium of the season, which didn't come until race 10.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
A fun little fact, this is also where Fernando Alonso lost hope that Max Verstappen was going to win the championship, but he didn't tell anybody.
Really?
What do you mean?
In an interview I was reading the other day because I was writing about like him saying this. I'll find my piece later so I can get you the exact quotes.
Yeah.
But he basically said that like he never really lost faith in Verstappen. That car just drove past again. Sorry, but what the hell? He was like, I never really lost faith in Verstappen, but around Spain was a time that I started to think that maybe he won't win it or something. Lost faith in Verstappen winning the championship.
Interesting. Yeah, there's not really many notes left for this one. I don't know. Let's move on because the next race is very exciting and I'd like to talk about it for longer. Race 11 was Austria. Our podium was George P1, Oscar P2, Carlos P3. This was a big Max Lando battle, obviously, where there was contact. They both went off. They both went wide on that first. I think it's one of the first turns where it's like a 90-degree turn, I think.
Am I going crazy?
Maybe.
Wait, didn't Daniel leave before Austin? Didn't he leave the race? Austria.
Are you
Austria.
Okay?
Wait, hang on.
There's so many of them because we did Australia, Austria, and then Austin is later, and they're all AUS.
Okay, I heard Austin.
And
I was like, I feel like we are way too early in the season for Austin.
No, Austria. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Sorry.
But they had contact.
I don't have my listening aids on. Yeah, okay.
They had contact. They went off. I think Lando was so mad. He just retired the car. I do think the car was drivable because Max's car was drivable. That being said, there was a lot of commentary on like Max knows how to drive like a beat up car because he's beat up his cars trying to kill people for the win. So he like knows how to handle driving a car with damage where Lando feels something off and will just retire it because he's not used to like being down to like the bones of his fingertips trying to carve his way to a win, you know, the way that Max does.
Yeah. I think he was also just a bit salty.
Yeah.
He was just mad. Because I think there's actually radio messages of Will talking about like coming in, you know, fixing any damage. Because I think it was maybe like the wing or maybe like a puncture or something. I don't know. But it was very easy fix. Doable. And they were like, come in, we can fix it, we can still get points. And he was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, he was like, retire it.
Oh. Okay. This was around the time that Lando's little posse started to be made online, where it was like the big Max hate club.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Lando.
This is also where the Gracie Abrams I love you, I'm sorry edits really went hard.
Yeah.
Really went hard between Max and Lando.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for F1 edits like that when they're so dramatic and I get into it. I'm
like the one that you sent just before to Piano Man?
The Piano Man one? I was literally crying.
You guys are going to have to start downloading them and sending them to me if TikTok gets banned in the US. We have, what day is it today? We have 11 days before they decide. Or like 10 days before they decide. So you have to keep me updated.
I have some thoughts on that, but that's not F1 related.
That's not this kind of podcast. Time. That could be a different podcast.
It's fine.
Okay. Race 11?
12.
Huh?
We're on 12. We're on 12 now.
Oh.
12 was Great Britain with Silverstone.
I've got a really important point. That's not really important at all. But the Austria podium was a second driver's podium, like a number 2 driver.
Yes.
Number 2s.
Yeah.
It was.
So that was like a bit of justice for them. But anyway, on we go.
On we go. Yeah, justice for I already forgot. It was Russell, Piastri, and Carlos. Yeah, honestly. Okay. 12 was Silverstone. We had Hamilton P1, very exciting. Max P2, Lando P3. It was a wet dry race, which always makes things interesting, which means that those that have more experience are just going to do better. Like, it makes sense that Hamilton and Max were up there.
I think Alonso finished pretty high as well.
Yeah, and Hulkenberg got P6.
Yeah,
which
he did
was
great too.
Huge for the Haas. I think that's when we started to see the Haas kind of like show form.
The Haas was really good towards the second half of the season.
Yeah, truly.
I feel like Austria onwards, it just insane.
Yeah,
Kevin was like P6 in Austria. I think he was just behind Max. Max just got him.
Yeah. Honestly, shout out to Magnussen for being a menace the first half of the season and then taking a race off and coming back and being like a sweetie, basically, compared to the first half.
He got put in timeout and he was like, okay, I've reflected.
Yeah.
I've done my sentences. Like, I'm sorry. I will not terrorize again.
Those are his lines that he had to repeat right in detention. I will not cause chaos on the grid.
These are like his daily affirmations in the mirror every morning. I will not wreak havoc. I will Nico's way onto the podium. I will not just take people out of my you know what I mean?
I will support my teammate.
Literally. You know what? Penalty points. So good that Pierre had no damage or no incidents like that this year. That afford any more penalty points because he was so close to race ban in 2023.
Yeah,
my heart was going pitter patter. I've never been so stressed in my life.
Oh my God. That was a scary one.
It was pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Oh, great. Yeah. Wait, what race was that? Silverstone. Yeah,
that was
sad.
12. Get ready for 13. 13 is not a lucky number. There was drama. 13 was Hungary, where it was P1 Oscar, P2 Lando, P3 Hamilton. And my sentence here says, beg Lando to give P1 back to Oscar.
Can we just skip over this one?
I don't think this needs to be touched on.
No, actually, I do want to say one thing. I need to voice my opinion.
Let me say one thing.
I'm still so mad that Oscar thought that Lando was going to spray him with the champagne, that he flinched when Lando walked past him, and he cold shouldered him.
Yep.
Walked straight to Hamilton.
Yep.
Tears. Oscar's first race.
Yep.
Crying. I hated it.
It proves how much it matters to have the right people on a podium for your first win. Because look at Lando's, who was getting showered like a king, he was getting winner's treatment. Poor Oscar had to spray his fucking self basically. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Poor darling.
He's just a chill guy.
Yeah. He's just a chill guy.
I don't know if you guys saw, but he posted a TikTok. McLaren posted a TikTok, and Oscar was doing this little challenge, one of the TikTok games, and he got it wrong twice, and then he finally got it right, and he was he was so happy and gasping smiles, and all the comments were yeah, the cars won, and all the comments were man's happier than when he got his first win.
No.
Yeah, because Lando didn't taint it.
Oh,
anyway,
he came in at the end and went, "You did it."
Anyway, moving on.
The only other note
about Hungary, I have to block out the whole Oscar Lando shit, and I just think about little Max and Lewis.
Yes, that was the only other note that I had. Wait, what? There was one meme, I think, where it was oh, a penny, and it's just Max's car at a 45-degree angle.
Wait,
how has nobody made a freaking meme on TikTok to that?
I cannot picture this. Maybe it's because I've actually blocked out Hungary with all my might.
I think it was Max's wheel went over Lewis's rear tire, and he just got bumped up. But it was flashbacks to 2021.
Oh, I was going to say, did that not happen in 2021? Interesting.
No, exactly
okay.
that.
Okay, maybe I've definitely blocked that race out now.
The Max Lewis stuff goes in the 2021 folder. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Find like
Still don't remember it, but yeah.
Could have been 2021, honestly. Like, straight up.
Corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two pictures.
No, seriously.
They're in the same picture.
I know. All right.
Yep.
Okay, race 14. We're in the latter half of the season now. Race 14 is Belgium. Podium was Lewis, Oscar, and Charles. George, this was George's win that he got disqualified. Ouchies. Ouchies.
This was his hilarious Instagram story, though.
Yeah.
Yes. The series of win, win, win. Then just like text. And then the disqualified picture.
Just said like devastated or something.
Yeah.
Man did not post a single anything on social media for like a week after that. He was like, nah.
And honestly, so real.
Yeah.
Like, at least delete your stories beforehand.
Is it worse though? Like,
devastated.
Well, actually, that's how I found out that he was disqualified, because I woke up in the morning and watched
his own
it.
Story?
Yeah, because I watched the race. I watched the replay in the morning, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, George, slay!"
Yeah.
And then it was like half an hour later, and I'm doing my daily Instagram like flick through, and I get to George's, and I'm like, "Ha ha ha!" And it's just like devastated. And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And then I had to do some digging, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Literally.
Yeah.
But like, that's so honest to the series of emotions, though. Like, that's why I think I like it. Is it's not like he deleted everything and it was just a disqualification.
Yeah.
Where you see it and you're just like, aw. And it wasn't just, oh, where did his stories of him winning go? Like, he didn't just delete it and do nothing. Like, he was honest of like, I thought I won too.
Yeah.
He's like, you've not watched this race, you can go through the trauma with me. Think I've won? Bam, it's gone. How about that?
Like that.
Yeah, he was like, and just like that, it's taken away from you. Now what?
And bam! She got hit by a big truck.
Oh my god. Yeah, the only other thing I wrote here was that Checo was P7 and he started to struggle. Because he hadn't been, I guess his last podium, woof, ouchies, was China?
Shit.
Ooh. Nuh-uh. Hold on. Nuh-uh.
Do the math
Bahrain,
again.
he's there. Saudi, he's there. He's not there in Australia. He's there in
was
Japan.
after
He's
Monaco
there in
that shit kind of hit the fan with Perez.
Well, after that huge crash.
Yeah.
Maybe he just lost confidence after that. Like, he's got a wife and kids.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got
I think that's when.
I knew he was gonna break first. He's got a wife and kids.
Oh my god, okay. So the next race was race 15 was Netherlands. I just wrote
I can't do it. I can't.
No, and you know what's the craziest thing is I've written uneventful on there.
Are you okay?
Wait, what was the podium again?
Norris, Max, and Charles.
Sorry, that was so mean of me, but are you okay? That was Logan's massive crash. Like, the car blew up, set on fire.
Okay, then that's not on me. That's on the F1 reporting bullet points at the top of the article. Because I didn't read the whole thing. I looked at the bullet points. This was my 15th box of 24. I started to give up by then.
Yeah, no, that was like Logan's like massive crash where he like spun and then hit the wall and then it split up and then it blew up. And he was just like standing there really sad, and then they dropped him.
Yeah.
He came back after the Netherlands. And then he disappeared from the face of the earth for like 3 months before we heard from him again.
To be fair, I would as well.
I would too. It scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a little bit scared for his mental health.
Oh my god. Okay, well, yeah, you fact check me on that. I was
really, I feel
uneventful
about that. That was so mean, and I really apologize.
No. No, because you know I love Logan Sargent. The one piece of Williams merch that I have in my closet is Logan Sargent merch.
Me too. Actually, I have 2 pieces of Williams, but they are both Logan Sargent.
Okay.
It's fine.
You have the hat, don't you? Also?
No, I want to get the hats, though. They're on sale for like $20 on Fuel for Fans. Don't tempt me with a good time, mate. Okay. Williams merch is also on sale.
Yeah, everyone's having merch sales. If you're hearing this, everyone's having merch sales. Go check it out. Red Bull's like has a 50% off section. It's insane.
Yeah.
But also, why is 50% off $70?
Yeah. It's still quite expensive.
I don't know if you've seen some of the Ferrari jackets, but some of the Ferrari jackets are like upwards of $600.
Yeah.
Ugh. No, it makes me so mad because I went to see if Ferrari was having a sale and they have the hockey jersey, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
As far as, no offense, Ferrari merch, you guys could do a little better.
Yeah.
For
Honestly,
the girls, maybe.
jerseys, like the good football, not like the soccer football, those ugly ones they did, gross. But these football jerseys and those ice hockey jerseys,
Yes.
beautiful.
Nah, I can't look at the ice hockey jerseys because all I can imagine is Charles's photo shoot.
Yeah, fair.
Mom, I threw up.
Fair.
Wait, yeah, they way oversized that on him.
All
Oh.
black Las Vegas Desert Sun, whatever they're called, those like faded shoes.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere now. I want them. And they're not available in Australia.
I want the blue Miami cap
Yeah.
because it matches my car. But anyway.
Puma, however you say it. We'll like collab with you or something. Just give us the goods.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us, please.
Just
Puma,
PR
please.
boxes at this point. I don't care.
Really.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll take a gift.
Okay.
We have race 16. Sorry, you can't see my legs, but I've absolutely struck a pose. Was Monza, which was another Leclerc win, which was another iconic Leclerc win. P2 was Piastri, P3 was Norris. At one point, Piastri had taken the P1 position from Norris, and then Charles came through and absolutely won it. This was the whole Il Predestinato, like all of those iconic edits and graphics and everything. I was obsessed.
Yeah.
This was so good.
So good.
This was so
Could
good.
you imagine at Monza?
Could you imagine actually being there? Like,
No, like,
that's a bucket list for me. That's a bucket list race for me.
Yeah.
Is Monza for sure. Oh, yeah, let's
do it.
Once we get a little bit bigger,
we
can, do some coverage at Monza. Soph and I we can all start Italian on Duolingo.
Oh, that'll be
I still haven't added you on Duolingo. We need to do it so we can have a little Italian.
Yes.
I know. Wait, Britt, you hit 100 days, didn't you, of your streak?
I did.
Woo!
Officially 100 days learning Spanish.
Jesus Christ. I've got a friend who literally, I think he's got like nearly a 2,000-day streak on Duolingo.
Oh my God.
Jonah, if you hear this, do you have a life?
Are you well?
Love you, but what the heck?
It's okay to miss a day or two. Make the rest of us feel better about our streaks.
Yeah, it's trying to make me do a Dutch refresher before I can look at anything on Duolingo, so I'll find it later and I'll...
Oh my God. Okay. All right. We're in race 17 was Azerbaijan. Our podium was Oscar, Charles, and George. There were some battles between Oscar and Charles. There was I think there were 4 DNFs, it seems. Maybe at least 3.
That Checo and Carlos crash.
Mm-hmm. There was that one.
Reacted and really like screaming. I feel like Back Live reacted.
Oh, maybe. Because the other DNF was Lance and Yuki. Yeah. Were the other 2, I think.
Did we do this?
Yeah, maybe.
Liv? Was it one of our... Because I think Sophia slept in.
Oh, my alarm didn't go off or something.
Yes, everyone's sitting there bullying her. We're like, don't know where Sophie is.
She was sleeping.
Yeah. Sleeping, getting her beauty sleep. Yeah, I do briefly remember that.
It's a blur when I watch them in real time and they're like at 3 or 4 in the morning. Because I'm not a real person yet and they're going so fast. What do you want from me? There's only so much I can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. 18 was Singapore. Oofy.
Can't do that. Poor Daniel.
Yeah.
He deserves better.
Oh, Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah. So the podium was Lando, Max, and Oscar. Lando got P1 from P1. Whatever.
Yes, he finally did it.
Yeah, okay, I'll count this one, I guess.
Also, had a really cool helmet.
Yeah.
The Singapore helmets were sick.
Singapore always comes with good helmets, I reckon.
Yeah.
But this one was the controversy of Daniel doing fastest lap. Daniel getting driver of the day, extremely merited. Everybody had the hunch. Everybody was on the same page. Everyone was like, we're giving him this as our gift as fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what? Maybe
Devo.
Daniel's Max's championship there.
Yeah, just to like get in Lando's head even a little bit, because I feel like that's one thing that's like Max and Lando are so different in that Max could not care any less about what anyone has to say or think, and I feel like Lando cares so much about the environment and the dynamics and the politics of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gets to him. I feel like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just remembering to use my I feel statements when it comes to Lando.
It's not a fact. It's just how I feel.
It's just how I feel. I feel like you can fix your attitude. No, I'm kidding. I mean, not really.
Well,
anyways.
not really.
And you know what? Crofty's
Ugh.
or was it Ted Kravitz? I think it was Ted Kravitz. His goodbye to Daniel.
Oh, yeah, no, it was Ted. In his little Ted's notebook.
That's right.
Yeah, well, and then there was like the Instagram reel or TikTok that Kim Illman, the photographer, posted of like he was the last driver to leave. He knew. We all kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
But then Millman's post about like, but is it the last time he'll be in the paddock?
Yes,
probably.
I know you're a loyal Perth boy. You probably have dinners and lunches with Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, absolutely.
I know best friends with him back home. But like, what do you know?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
Yeah, can't just drop something like that with no reason.
On that.
Yeah. Okay, so that was race 18. Race 19 was then Austin. This was when we get Liam in the podium with Charles, Carlos, and Max. Ferrari won 2. Huge dub for the girls.
Yeah, that was a good
one. The other things I've written are that there was, this was Lando-Max fight where I think Lando forced Max to go wide, and he got a 5-second penalty for it.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious when we go to the next race.
Yeah, because that took him out of the podium, I think. Or out of the points? His penalty? I can't remember.
I don't know. At least off the podium, because he's not on the podium.
Yeah.
So at the very least that.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Not as much. Austin is not as fun without Daniel riding on his horse.
We need Horsey McHorseback.
Yeah.
Horsey McHorse. Oh my god. Okay, so that one was Austin. Now we've begun the America's leg. So there was Austin was 19, 20 was Mexico City. Love Mexico City. Actually want to go
Mexico.
There. So
yeah,
bad.
I'd love to go.
The podium was Carlos, Lando, and Charles. Love a double Ferrari podium. Really having a good time. I think this is when Ferrari really gets like a really good spot in terms of the constructors.
Yeah.
And then my notes here say safety car. Gasly, Albon, and Tsunoda all DNF. Sorry, Liv. And then the main thing I remember from this really is just all of the sus, like, King of Mexico language that people were using.
Yeah.
Or, like, I understand you want to celebrate Carlos's win, and I understand that it's always, like, King of the track, King of, like, Mr. Motorsport, whatever, all of these nicknames. But, like, when it's literally a previous colony that a Spanish king established, like, let's maybe check our terminology that we're using here, please.
Yeah.
Thought behind that.
Nah. And you can tell that it was just like an in the moment, like not rehearsed anything, but that's like
I want to celebrate it for
common
him.
knowledge.
I want to celebrate it for him. It's like the way I imagine American people feel about British accents, like how that's like, oh my god, swoon is like how I feel as a Spanish speaker about Spanish accents sometimes. I'm like, okay, swoon, but like not that way.
Time and place, babe.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think any of those like domination, any of those sort of posts, I don't think any of those were planned to go on more than the first one.
Yeah.
They did the first one, they're like, shit, we can't stop now. So I think they just kept winging it, and it just didn't go well at all. Yeah.
The best ones were Charles, Oscar.
Yeah.
And there was another one as well that I really liked. But there were only like a couple.
Yeah,
I think they thought it was going to be a thing, and then they like gave up on it.
Yeah. They fired that social media person and were like, oh shit.
Yeah, wrong call. Okay, race 21, I've written in all caps, best race of 2024 was Brazil, where we get double Alpine podium, Max being the absolute GOAT. The absolute GOAT. I think it was after this race that I got Max merch, where I was like, I can't live in denial anymore. I've come full, like, I've done a full 180 from, I can't believe he's going to fight Esteban Ocon in the garage like that, DTS era, to I have so much respect for this crazy individual.
Yeah.
I actually think I gained my respect for Max when he tried to fight Esteban in the garage.
Me too, to be honest. I was like, this fucking guy. He's a G.
I was like, he gets it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like, this man, he's got passion.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to follow you.
Yeah. So, I mean,
this was incredible.
What a race.
Photo of like all the cars coming towards you and then Lando going off. That photo just eats. Absolutely eats.
Yeah.
No words.
I feel like bad sometimes. I don't know Lando as a person. Maybe he's lovely. This is a weird parasocial beef to have. We're here though.
I hate you.
Yeah. It's funny
like if
because
I saw him in real life, like I would still get a picture. Like,
You're just
not
like,
if he listens to our pod.
This is just a sneaky picture.
I know. No, I'd be like, okay, you pretend to hate me and I'll pretend to hate you, except I'm not pretending.
Just like stand there and be like,
oh my God. Okay, anyway. No, I respect, he's still one of the greatest drivers in the whole world. He's literally in Formula One. Like, if I think he has an attitude problem, they all have attitude problems. They're Formula One drivers. They're all insane car guys. Like, anyways. So, okay, then we have Vegas is 22, race 22. I will say I do want to call back to the graphic that F1 had to pull down of like, oh, we're going from like Brazil to the strip, like better leave the jungle with all of the, I don't, it was like such a like reductive post to anyone who lives in the Amazon. Just like, I also take really personally because Colombia is part of the Amazons, part of the Andes. Like there's some biodiverse. Colombia's the most biodiverse country in the whole world, in case you were wondering.
Little fact from Sophia.
I know. Viva Colombia. So, but like
Factual Fridays.
To be like leaving the jungle to go to like civilization was so like they needed to, who
very
that?
Sorry if my audio just picked up someone doing an absolute insane rev outside of my house.
It's a Formula One podcast. They're helping us out.
Okay, they're doing burnouts now. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Anyway,
they know we're recording.
Yeah. They said, let's give us some background noise.
It just makes you sound like more of an authentic motorsport.
It sounds like I'm at the track.
Sorry, sorry. Oh my God, the engine's outside? I'm so sorry. No, anyway, so that was just like really problematic. Glad they took it down. Don't know how it got past. Like, do they not have D&I approval?
Like, no thought behind anything.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
So silly. But anyway, then we go to Vegas. We go to Vegas. Max wins it all. Max clinches the title. They released the ugliest shirts I've ever seen. He wasn't even on the podium. It was George, Lewis, and Carlos. Max ended up P5. The double Mercedes podium was great. The Mercedes 1-2 was great. I was still beefing a little bit with Carlos at the time. I get it that he's like not listening to team orders anymore because it's literally Vegas and then there's Qatar and Abu Dhabi and then we were done. So like I get not listening to it, but like, bro, like you're still on the team. You still kind of like you're still on the team. Like I wouldn't want to project that kind of image of like, no, once it gets too close to me leaving, like I don't care anymore. I don't want to project that to like a future employer, you know? Like even if I'm mentally checked out, my contract says I'm with you. So I'm with you.
Yeah. Like you look at Lewis, you know, in comparison.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been complaining about the car since like day one.
Oh, yeah. Lewis will know the car is shit.
Anyway. He's also been signed for Ferrari since basically day one. That announcement was so crazy.
That was so wild.
It was literally 6 a.m. getting ready to go to work. Like I was literally like standing there and saw people messaging about like, oh, apparently Lewis is like going to Ferrari. I was like, no, he's not. He's never leaving Mercedes. And then as I fucking said that, a fucking Twitter thing pops up and it's like, Lewis Hamilton set to leave Mercedes. And I was like,
it was literally the night before. and I made a TikTok that was like, oh, these rumors are going around. Let's see if they're true this year. And then I woke up and I stitched it and I was like, it's been
did
4
it do
hours.
absolute numbers?
I did, I think. And I was like,
Okay,
it's been
yeah,
like
I would imagine.
8 hours. Like, what?
Seriously.
Hello?
Hello?
Another thing that happened in Vegas was that I'm mad about with Williams was Franco's huge crash.
Oh, when
that
he
he
bounced
then
off the barrier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even. I still can't believe that he got cleared to race like 12 hours later.
Forced to more.
It's upsetting to me.
No, and then he's like kind of chit-chatting about it, and like I know he's not the most media trained, but he's not media trained either.
Yeah.
So for him to drop that,
and the fact that the poor kid's like, I know none of you will believe me, but I'm telling the truth. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He felt the need to be like that exaggerating.
That was bigger. His crash in G-Force was bigger than Max's at Hungary in like 2021.
the big one, the 51G
yeah,
one.
So Max's biggest crash is 51 Gs, and it's recorded that Franco's crash was over 50 Gs.
You're joking.
No. Yeah. So
I heard the audio of Max after that crash.
Yeah.
That's scary. Okay, so hater clubs we have are Lando Norris and James Vowles.
James Vowles, I'm coming for you. So that's
site.
I'm happy that he's going to Alpine. Not that Alpine is much better, but I mean, like,
he's going to Alpine because it's just slowly confirming that the rumors about Jack Doohan's contract being for 6 races is true, and that Franco's going to take. And also, might I add, I'm really getting passionate about the F2 drivers today. I'm pissed because Paul Aaron just got signed as Alpine's reserve driver. Now
they have
got
so many.
They're going to be put in the car before poor Paul. Poor Paul. Oh my God.
I got what you said.
Darling Paul.
Yeah.
You know
Poor Paul.
Poor Paul.
No, but don't they have 3 reserve drivers now?
Yeah. That Rhino dude or Rio from McLaren. Paul, I nearly said Paul Walker. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Aaron, wow. Eyes are watering. Great. Good job, Liv. And now go freaking Colapinto.
Well, to be fair, they have to run 2 reserve drivers at a minimum. But where's the third one going to go?
Yeah, literally.
Where's he going to go?
This is stupid.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah. It's fine.
Anyway.
Okay. In more recent history, Qatar? We have Qatar, P1 Max, which is like crazy. Like Max could have given up, but he didn't.
No.
So
Max he could have been P1... like, you know what, Charles? I'll let you win this so that you can win the constructors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
It was Max P1, Charles P2, Oscar P3. This was when let's get angry again. This was when Piastri was gifted his sprint win.
I was on the dance floor and I was like,
I need to take a second.
I do not want to make any comments.
Literally, there was like this 18-year-old bloke standing there. There was a couple of them that were like, oh, let us watch with you and we'll like slay whatever, I don't care. And one of them was like a McLaren fan or something, and I was like, he was like, I think Oscar, what did he say? Something about, I think Lando's going to win. I was like, no, Lando's going to lead the whole race and then Oscar's going to win. He's going to overtake him in the last minute. As a joke! And then Lando goes and pulls that stunt. Why? It's so condescending.
It's just like a kick in the guts.
About like, this is my like gift to him after him helping me. Like, shut up. How about that? That would be a fantastic.
Also did it after the championship was decided already. Max had won the championship, so you're only saying thank you to him because you don't care where Oscar finishes anymore. You don't care about a battle because you're being selfish.
Deep breaths, ladies. Deep breaths.
Okay. Did anything else happen in that race, or should we move on?
We have Fever on the track, which was the mirror.
Oh.
Yeah. And 3 safety cars. I think this was one.
Oh my God, the freaking mirror.
Yeah. It was on there for so long. I was listening to Red Flags Pod earlier and they were talking about it because I'm so behind on my podcast listening. But they were talking about how like the yellow VSC safety car, nothing got called for way too long. And like someone
No,
could
because it
have been
ruined.
seriously injured. Like I know we just talked about how safe the cars are, but like you're also hurtling down at the speed of freaking light. Like
Yeah. So it literally ruined Carlos and Hamilton's chance at a podium.
Yeah.
So, and then they only called it after that.
Yeah.
And I think someone else got busted as well, maybe Valtteri. So
there
lame.
were so many issues. Yeah, huge L.
Yeah.
Lame.
Okay. And that brings us to the final race of the season, Abu Dhabi. Beautiful race. Loved watching it. I mean, literally just because of the sunset, not because of the racing. Lando won.
Sunset and the fireworks.
Whatever. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Like, if Lando has an attitude problem, I have attitude problem.
It's only when it comes to Lando, though, it's fine.
Your longitude is sorted, though?
Okay, listen, we're 24 races into this podcast recording, okay? Okay, it was Lando P1, Carlos P2, Charles P3, double Ferrari podium, just aesthetically beautiful race, and then we got Leclerc P19 to P3. Am I right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, P15 or P14.
Yeah, well, yeah, regardless, he made up so many places.
He qualified 19th, but then other people got penalties and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I feel like the only point that needs to be mentioned about Abu Dhabi is I actually saw this on a podcast this morning. Pato Award. Oh, him talking
oh my
about
God.
It was like, every time I go into a corner, I just thought there is no way that this car is going to stop. And there is no way that I could go flat through this corner. And then it did. Like, he was just like so like gassed up, and he was like, the best moment of my entire life was lap 1 going through like after turn 1 into 2 and 3, and just it's so fast, but like I just get goosebumps thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
I love him.
I love when someone's passionate about what they do. It's just a beautiful thing to have those two things coincide, about being able to do it and being passionate about it.
And he's like, I told myself on like the first lap not to be a wimp and just to go for it.
Oh no.
So cute.
Oh.
Like, oh, he's so cute, like looks wise. Like, he's just like a sweetheart. Like,
no, yeah. Like he's a cutie pie.
Like, he's like a
puppy.
He's a cutie pie.
In all sense of the word.
He and Oscar are same person, different font, because like Pato is like golden retriever and Oscar is like black cat.
Yeah.
Where he's like calm and quiet until he's comfortable, and then he's like, haha, what? Here's one single dry humor joke. Oh dear, I've made a mess.
No, he's so funny.
Most recent.
No, and like visually as well.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did also get some lovely farewell Mercedes donuts from Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even goes down on the last corner and nobody noticed because they were too busy looking at Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But let me cry really quick.
Can we also talk about every team needs a dream farewell to Lewis, because man,
our dream is to get rid of you.
Get out of here. That was so like just a final kick in the guts, I think.
Literally. And that's the thing, like we were talking about before, how like Carlos visibly gave up on caring about Ferrari towards the end. He cared about himself. But, like, the thing is, Lewis was thrown about and slandered by even Toto. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last few races, he was absolutely thrown about by his own team, and he still had Mercedes first in mind.
That's what I mean. Like, that was the difference between Carlos and Lewis. Like, Lewis has obviously known for so long that he wasn't driving for Mercedes, but he kept it professional, and like he gave them a chance as well, because he was like, I am going to give them a chance, and then if they don't fix it, I'm leaving. And he did that, and he held up to his word, and he was professional and only spoke highly about the team, like holistically the whole time. And if there was an issue in a single race or whatever, he would just talk about that in context. But then Carlos was like, no, I'm leaving. What are you going to do? Fire me? That was his mindset.
And I guess like
Unfair,
he's got
though.
20 years in sport, so like, and he's a lot older, so he's like had time to like
Yeah.
have his like shitty brat time in the sport and like grow and
Oh,
mature.
yeah.
But regardless, if I was getting slandered like that, everyone has a shelf life. It would have been on site. I would have been like,
I know. Well, and here's the thing. Here's what I think about with Lewis a lot is like he's the only black driver. Like he doesn't, as much as we preach equity and equality and all of these things, like there are ingrained prejudices that people have and are going to believe. Like if he behaved the way that Carlos behaved, I don't think the optics would be, because Carlos is a Spanish man. He's white, you know, like all the rest of these guys are white guys. Or white
but
passing
also,
or whatever. Like
they're known to be like fiery as well. Like that's a stereotype that they have. Is they're like, oh, it's just his like Latino heritage.
well,
Like
yeah.
he's just fiery.
Yeah,
Like I've
and
heard
even
that
like
as well.
even Franco, who is Hispanic and Latino, like he, you know, Argentina has its history, so like he's like as white as they come as far as Hispanics go. So I don't know. I just I think as much as it's not a race issue, it always kind of is with Lewis at the same time, which I wish he could be free from. I wonder sometimes if this is who he's been media trained to be or who he really is. And I think there's bits and pieces of both, of like he's passionate about things like Mission 44 and fashion, and I think doesn't he also have like a record label and like a film? Like he's really interested in a lot of different things, but also like what if he was allowed to unapologetically be himself? Like what if he's secretly Kevin Magnuson, but just because he's black, he's not allowed to be, you know, because it's a sport full of white people. So anyway,
it's so bad.
There's your critical race theory for the day.
To an extent, I think it's just who he's been media trained to be. Because like I definitely like that like strong-willed, cheeky side of him. Because I don't know if you've seen that video where his nephew wants to put on a dress or something. He goes, "You don't wear that. That's not for boys." And,
Lewis.
Him was in the media scenes, like he's all like, "You can do whatever you want, like girls."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You can't wear that. That's for a girl." Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like to an extent it is who he's media trained to be. And I kind of wish he'd show that other side a little bit because it's kind of funny. Like really
well, you look at Max, like you look at the difference, you know, Max is Max.
Yeah.
Lewis is Lewis. But I think, I don't know. I think it all comes down to what you said, Soph. It's just if he was to, maybe as well because he was like that Brosadies era. He was a little bit, you know, bratty. And I wasn't around F1 at that point, so I don't know what the reaction was to his behavior like that and whether it was from there that Mercedes were like, no, you need to be this type of person for us.
Squeaky, clean, SpongeBob level.
Yeah.
Well, I know at one point they were both told, like Nico and Lewis, they were both told that if they crashed into each other again,
they'd have to pay.
Yeah. Their pockets. So I reckon around that time he's probably, and then especially losing like his childhood best friend, he's probably realized that like he can't have that sort of attitude anymore. Like,
well, and it's crazy. Like their frontal lobes aren't developed, and they're racing these cars and getting these insane concussions and head trauma just from their brains being sloshed about at several G's of force. And then it's like, okay, now be a normal person.
I do want to say, keep that in mind with Lando as well.
Yeah, his frontal lobe is not there yet.
Because I think he's only just turned 25.
God.
So, or if not, is turning 25. So, yeah.
It's like football. Like, hello? Oh my God, I can't say. NRL in Australia, and I'm pretty sure like that CTE or whatever it is in NFL they get, it's like it's a proven fact that majority of NFL players will like bash up their wives. Like they've got higher like risk of domestic violence because of the head injuries they're getting.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not thinking this is literally children. Like Kimi Antonelli's 18. Like
no, I know.
That's why I was so worried about Franco's crash.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's like, what, 20? You're 20?
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I have to wonder, do you reckon, like, this is so, like, unhinged, but do you reckon that, like, Lewis Hamilton is waiting to retire until another black person could fill in?
Dang. Or, like, someone who's not, like, a brown person at least.
Yeah. like, I don't know, it sounds bad, but like maybe he's like holding on to the fact that like we can't let, like somebody with dark skin be completely pushed out of the sport. Like,
I was thinking that before when we kind of got onto the topic.
Yeah, I think it's definitely he's gonna retire after Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Like that, you can't not. Like that's what a way to end it, you know. But yeah, I think it would be tough to see him be replaced by just like another white guy.
Yeah.
Unless give Abby Pulling a chance. I don't know.
Please.
I would allow that. Like, I feel like it would be cool to see that passing of torch, maybe.
Yeah.
From like the POC community.
Yeah.
Or women.
Yeah. Agreed.
I reckon that Marta Garcia or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She shows so much potential. I reckon if you chucked her in an F1 car, she'd actually do well. I feel like Abby Pulling's got more chance of going to Formula E probably like next season. Really well in those testing, and obviously she's in GB3 or whatever this season.
Yeah.
But I reckon next season they might say, fuck it, we need a woman. Jump on over.
I hope so.
Should be good for her.
Yeah. It would be so good. She'd dominate. Imagine her kicking those boys' ass.
I think I'll start watching Formula E. If they get a woman, I'll start watching Formula E.
Mate, I find a way to watch it, I'm watching it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so, I think it's such a cool concept.
Well, all right.
That was insane.
Race recap the whole season.
And it only took us like an hour. I'm actually impressed. Tear it up now.
No, I was going to for dramatic effect. But then I thought, oh, next season I can do the same thing and compare.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Frame it. That's your first season recap for Gears and Glory.
Oh.
Love it.
Slay. Well,
all right.
Thanks for tuning in. We will gear up and get ready for a 2025 season.
Oh, stay tuned. We've got some fun interviews coming up with some really cool interviewees coming on the pod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tune for that.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting.
Huge slay. All right.
Huge slay.
Bye.
I hate us.
No, I love it. That's my favorite part.
It's the best part of the whole episode.
It is
going. And the thing is, I love waving like this because you can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It clicks.
Yeah.